grow biodiversity, but so much biodiversity grows on its own. Like I said, the pollinators come on their own. I never planned a biodiversity garden. I planned a seed bank, but now it's a biodiversity garden. And we had one student who did a master's on birds. Birds that had disappeared have come back. You can hear their noise all the time. And wild healing plants or wild edible plants are growing all over. Plants that I haven't seen since childhood are growing here all over the farm. I stood once in a square foot farming and I counted there were 12 plants outside the fields where we have grown plants. And in the 12 plants, there were about 4 edible plants and the rest were all healing plants. So there's nothing useless. Nature gives us nothing useless. That's why I have never accepted terms like weeds, useless people. It's a vocabulary, I call it the glyphosate vocabulary. The idea that you must just get rid of these things. And then in psychology, there's thinking of you must get rid of these useless people. So there's nothing useless in nature. And I also say, nature's so smart, nature doesn't grow anything useless. No plant is useless. No part of a plant is useless. This tree that is surviving there, on which sunlight is falling now, is called the Bauhinia. The Bauhinia is both, it's a fodder tree, but now in springtime it gets a beautiful blossom. And it is, in Garhwal they cook with it. And once in Delhi, some old Delhi person said they used to cook with the flower of the silk cotton. Yeah, that too. So one of the things I want to do is all the flowers we used for cooking. We of course resurrected all the flowers we used for coloring, because about 20 years ago we realized that all the colors for Holi were being used chemically. So I told my colleague Maya, I said, but we used to play with Tesu, Kapu. So let's do all the plants that give us colors. So we did a book, Abir Gulal. Bhavna, you can show the book to them. And on 4th of March is Holi. And immediately after that, we have an ecofeminism forum from 6th to 8th. So those of you who want to return to the farm, you're always welcome. We realize many of you are already based in Dehradun. So it's not such a huge planning for you. You can just talk to Bhavna. And around Earth Day, we do Earth Democracy. And then every fall, we do the A to Z of ecological agriculture. This year it will be from 3rd of October to 16th of October, which is World Food Day. And always we do courses on Gandhi, because so many of the lessons I have learned on how to resist, I learned from Gandhi. Not by picking up isms, but finding ways of action. The reason I have a lot of respect for Gandhi is when things look hopeless, there's something he did in his life that, so this is the Abir Gulal book. And these are colors of biodiversity. So it has all the plants. And we use these plants now with the Gandhi Ashram in Sevagram. We grow the organic cotton. We give the organic cotton to them. They hand weave and hand spin like Gandhi did. And they dye by hand. They dye with natural colors. One day you open the scarves the hand-dyed scarves we have. हाँ, तुम्हारे पास ही तो है, मेरे पास थोड़ी है.
मैं सोच रही थी आप देख रही हैं. I was like, okay, yes.
I was asking Bhavna to open the scarves.
I was wondering.
No, Bhavna was sitting here. She's just
That
gone.
is what-
She's just left.
She's gone, okay, but she'll come
I'll
back, I
tell her.
guess.
I'll tell her.
And so, like, you can't predict everything. You know, I think 3 years ago, the Sabarmati Ashram had called me to give their annual lecture. So I went to give the annual lecture. They insisted on taking me to the museum. I said, Choro. They said, "Nahi, please, ek do cheez dekh lijiye bas." So they took me, and in very beautifully preserved a sari that Gandhi had woven himself for Kasturba. And it was beautiful. It was white with a maroon border. And I said, "Can I take a photo of it? And can we make copies of it?" They said, "Of course." So the ashram in Gandhi moved from Sabarmati to Sevagram. So I showed that photo to the Sevagram people. I said, "Make scarves and saris with this design." And then it was 150 years of his birth anniversary that year. So I thought it was but right to give some scarves and saris back to Sabarmati, because that's where I had got the design from. And of course they took it and put it in their shop. And what do I do? What did I find? I went to, I had to give a lecture at Harvard. And the India Today, they gave me on the flight, had on the cover Mr. Trump with that scarf. I said, "This is not what we had the scarf done for," you know. And anyway, I hope it seeps some non-violence into him. Of course, he's given huge lectures on non-violence to Tehran these days, while he's bombing people all over the world. I don't know how many countries he's president of right now.
Self-proclaimed.
So, of course, self-proclaimed, also self-proclaimed for his Nobel. Yeah. I don't think we mean this by self-organization, no. So, you know, when you grow biodiversity, you then realize that everything for which we are growing chemicals, we can get from plants. Because the first work into the chemical industry that was done was for what? For a substitute for this. What's this color? Indigo. So when, you know, the British used to take indigo from here, a sack of indigo flowers used to be exchanged for a sack of gold. Yeah, that's how expensive it was. So the British, during Hitler's time, Hitler put all the chemical industry to work to make synthetic colors, and Germany was the first that made synthetic dyes. Yeah? The synthetic dye industry was started from Germany. And our first satyagraha was the indigo satyagraha. That's what Gandhi at that time, he had just come back from South Africa, where he had practiced another satyagraha. Because by then, they had decided that they were going to use race as a system of governance. And why did they have to do this? Because till that time, there used to be slavery. But because of movements in America, slavery was made illegal. So they brought in indentured labor. So all the slaves of Africa and the Caribbean are indentured labor. Yeah? And the agreements was that after 5 years indentured labor would become free. So around that time, the labor was becoming free. In anyway, all the professionals were Indians. That's how Gandhi, a lawyer, landed up in South Africa to be a lawyer for an Indian firm. And the Indian labor was there. So they passed a law, it was called the Indian Act, basically forbidding Indians from trading, from practicing any professional, and from Indian schools admitting Indian kids or black kids, only for whites. So I remember there used to be a joke, it used to be called the pencil test. Yeah? And the pencil test was because the blacks have curly hair. You put a pencil through their hair, it doesn't fall. So Gandhi, with all the Indian community, held a meeting saying they want to discriminate against us. This is racism by a different name. What should we do? So everyone said the professionals said we won't obey, others said we will not obey. So Gandhi first used the word satyagraha in South Africa against the Indian Act. We will not obey this discrimination, that we are different from the whites. We are all human beings, None of us are less or more. And that was in 1911. And in 1915 he came back to India because already people were protesting against the compulsory cultivation of indigo.